Hi everyone, welcome back, And if you're new, I'm Sandy. Today I am going to be walking through and showing you how I made this fun little, it can either be a journal topper or a journal page. I mean, it'll fit nicely on the cover of a journal, pop it down into a journal on a journal page. Just look how cute that is. So let's get going. So first off, I am starting off, I have this, it's extra heavy cardstock from Hobby Lobby, and I'm using the cream color. And I cut this down to 5 inches by 7 1/4. And obviously you can make this whatever size you want. And then I glued on some music paper. And so this is music paper from a hymnal. And these are kind of a little bit of a faith, gratitude theme. But you can have these be any theme that you want. The next thing that I did is I am using some digitals from, it's called My Porch Prints. And I'll link it down below. But it had just some of the most beautiful images. So I cut out this little dove carrying a rose. And then I also made some little envelopes. This is a digital of from that My Porch Prints kit. And I'll show you what it looks like here. It's really pretty. But what I did is when I went to print this, I printed 6 copies on a page, so it shrunk the image down. And that's a really great tip if you're wanting to kind of get a different scale on your images. And then I cut out these 2 little envelopes here. And unfortunately, I glued these. I didn't mean to glue them, but it's just a super simple envelope scale. I'll show you how to make one here in just a minute. And then the next thing I have are these little pockets that I'm going to put right here. And then I have my fun little scallop. And I will put at the end of this video how I made the scallop and the envelopes, because I actually used my Cricut to make the cutting a little bit easier for me. And so I took a piece of scrapbook paper and I cut this down using my Cricut. And so I made a few shapes out of this. And then the same with this envelope. There was this envelope template, and I used my Cricut to cut these out on this beautiful paper. And I made it a double-sided print. And I'll show you that here in a minute as well. And then for these, I used my Cricut to cut these as well, but you don't need a Cricut, and you don't need a Cricut to do the envelopes. There's so many different envelope templates that you can just fussy cut out. And I actually, over on my Patreon, I am going to add a template for both of these, so you can just print these out and then fussy cut them and then use them as a template. And I'll show you that here in a minute as well. So on these these envelopes they're just under 2 inches by just over 2 inches. This little tip goes over 2 inches. Folded. So, unfolded, it's going to be bigger than that. And then this little scallop is about 5 inches by a little over 2 at the peak. And then I scored it and folded it so I could glue it onto the edge. And I'll show you what else I do with that. And then these little pockets are 5 inches by 2.5. That's the tallest. This one is 3.5 inches. And then this one is 2 inches. And how I made the cut is I just lined these up like this, and I put a pencil mark here in the center, and then I used my scissors and cut them out. And you can also use your Cricut. So I did both. So I'm going to show you how to just do it by hand. So you just cut out these 3 rectangular images, all 2.5 wide. This one's 2 inches, this one's 3.5, and this one is 5 inches. And so if you make your base smaller, then you'll need to adjust the size of all these pieces. So I just go and I find the center of my paper. And then I just draw a line down however far I want the V to be, and then I just take my scissors, and actually I'm going to take some sharper scissors here, and I just start right at that point, and I cut in to my pencil mark, and I use a paper clip to keep all these as straight as possible. And then I just trim it off. And it may not be perfect, but it still will look really cute. So then you slide these back down, and then you have your 3 little pockets with the fun little V shape. Now you don't have to do the V shape. You can just use your punch and just, punch out a little notch if you want. So, whatever you feel like doing. And also on these, I did use my punch, and I notched out a little notch on the envelope before I glued them. Okay, so I just used my glue stick to glue the this music paper to the base. So I just used my glue stick. Works great. So next I'm going to glue these pockets together. And I am going to use my reptile glue, but you can use your whatever glue you like to use. So I hope everyone's doing really well. I love how this is this comes together. I love how it has some interaction on the page. It's interactive, where you got the little flap, and you have the pockets to put things in. And I'll show you how I glue the envelope and this on to give you some other options as well. And the other thing you'll need is some lace, because we're going to glue some lace onto this. And then I'm going to glue this onto here. I'm going to let this glue dry for a little bit, and then I'm going to sew around the edges. So in the meantime, while that is drying, I'm going to glue these guys on here. And I'm actually going to glue these on like a pocket. So I'm just gluing around the 2 sides and the bottom. And I'm going to lay this here so I can get a reference and how I want to lay everything out. And again, you can do whatever variations you might want to do. And then let me glue this one on. I just line this one right above the other envelope. And then I have some really cute little things to put in all these pockets. And I want to make sure the glue stays down. And then I'm going to glue this down. Same thing. I am going to, on this one, I am going to make it a side pocket. So I'm just going to put glue along the top and the bottom and the left-hand side. So you can have some cute little hidden ticket in there, or some neat little, like if you want to use this as a prayer in your prayer journal, you could put a little hidden prayer and slide it in there. And so I have my pocket here. So I'm going to just put this right about there. And you can use a bone folder, or I'm using an old hotel key to make sure it glues down well. So next I am going to put the lace on here. So you can use whatever lace you want. I've used a variety of laces. Here's a cute one. I've used this lace here. So whatever lace that you want to use. Here's another one that I used. I just kind of went through my stash, and you can even use a wider lace if you want to. Like this one's a little bit wider. But here I'm going to be using this one. And this one I got from Michael's, and it actually looks like this, but then I cut it in half. And I'm going to use my glue gun. See if it's heated up. Perfect. It's heated up. So I'm going to scoot this up out of the way. And I am just going to put a little bit of glue along the edge here on the back. And then add a little bit at a time. And I'm shaping the lace so that it follows the curve of the scallop. And then you can trim the ends as needed. And I just do a little bit of glue at a time so it doesn't cool on me. If you move quicker than me, work quicker than me, then you can do more sections at a time if you want. So see, isn't that looking so cute? And I kind of bunch it up a little bit, as you can see, just to give it a little more ruffle effect or flow effect as I put it around each scallop. So like that. Oop, that. Yeah, I think this is going to be really cute. And then I have some seam binding I think I'm going to use to hold the this little flap down once it's glued on. And you could ink up the back of this if you want to, or coffee dye it, or if you want to print double-sided, you know, print so whatever you want to do. So I'll probably just ink this up a little bit. And then there's the ruffle, so let me trim it. Sorry for my reach there. And trim that off. And I'm going to trim this edge off. Try not to cut the paper. There we go. And there we have our cute little ruffle flap. So then that's going to go right here. So I just use, again, you could use your hot glue if you wanted to. I am going to use my reptile glue. That way it'll just lay flatter, either on the journal page or on the journal cover. And I like to have it kind of hang off at the bottom just a little bit. And the other thing that you can do is you can back this with another piece of decorative paper or cardstock or book page, whatever you want, if you are not going to glue this down. But I'm going to leave that the way it is because I'll be gluing it down. All right, I have sewed around these pockets here, and I'm going to trim off the extra thread. And then again, I'm going to use my reptile glue, and I'm going to glue this on. I glued just around the 3 edges because I want to have that be a pocket as well, the pink paper there. And I just looked through my stash to find some papers that coordinated with the my porch prints digitals. If you're anything like me, you've built up a stash of papers. And then I just want to make sure the glue has adhered here for these pockets. This is the paper pad that I used, and I used this one, and this one from this paper pad, and it's an oldie. I probably got it at Tuesday mornings, honestly. See how easy that is to come together? And let me show you what I'm going to put inside of the pockets. Let that dry for a minute. So I have these fun little butterflies that I think will look pretty up here. So I'm going to put butterfly, but you could put whatever you want. You could put a flower. You could do whatever. So anything you want to do. There we go. And then let me show you some of the fun little things that came with this digital, and we'll slide them into these pockets. So these are a bunch of the different little tags and things, and I shrunk these down so that they would fit into my pockets, because they come in the file, they come in a bigger size. Like here's an example of some folios. Oops, folios there. So here's kind of the regular size. Aren't they adorable? And then I just shrunk them down on my printer so that they would fit into my little pockets. So here we have these sweet little tags. Whenever I'm afraid, I will trust in you. Just all the pray without ceasing, faith. I just think they're really sweet. So a whole bunch of different tags. So I thought these would be perfect to fit into these little pockets. And then we have these fun little cards here. You can see all these nice sayings on them. So I cut these out, and I will ink these up and get them all inked. But see, they fit perfect in these little pockets. And then we have these little tickets here, faith, hope, and love. So I can put a little ticket in there. And then for these bigger pockets, we can put some of these little bit bigger tags. The Lord bless and keep you. And so if you're not, you don't want it to be a kind of a faith or religious themed, you can definitely, do other type of tags, whatever you have. Like I have this paper pad here. I have this Bella and Bloom. This is from Joann's. And so they have some beautiful little tags in here. So you can cut these out, and they're double-sided, and these would fit perfectly in these pockets. And then we have these tags. So you can just find whatever little tags you might have in your 6x6 paper pads or another printable, and you could then use them. I love how these can hold. I mean, I'm putting 2 or 3 things. This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Nice. So it's so fun. And then up here, you can slide in one of these. You can slide in a ticket. So you can write on the back of it, or leave it blank, whatever you choose. Little bitty tickets. And then let me get some seam binding and kind of show you how I put that on. But yeah, my porch print, cute little, look at some of these tags. They're so sweet. And I have duplicates because I printed out multiples because I'm making several of these. So let me move these up here and get some seam binding. Now, if you don't have seam binding, you could also just find some really pretty ribbon that you think would look nice with the item. And here's this pretty pink. And you just tie it like this. And then you can tie a bow, whatever you want to tie. and then that would hold it down. And then when you glue it down on your page, this will be secured. That untwisted there. And then as you go to open it, it just hangs there. And then also, if you don't have any ribbon, you could do some twine. You could do some, you know, brown twine, or even this little thin twine would work. Like this. And then you tie a little bow. Well, shall I try that again? My fingers are all thumbs this morning. There we go. And that looks sweet as well. So lots of different options there. Let's see what the seam binding will look like. And if you don't have a big long piece, you can just use 2 shorter pieces and glue on the edge of each back, on each side. Oh, that looks sweet too. See, lots of different options. But if you just had a couple shorter pieces, just glue here and then glue there, and then just have the you know, seam binding, twine, whatever, come around that way. And then you don't have to glue it down either, because when you go to glue this down in your journal, it will get glued down then. So you could leave it like that if you wanted to. If you were going to make this a pocket, I would probably go ahead and glue all of this down first, so that when you go to slide things in, this doesn't catch, if that makes sense. And then I also picked up these I got these on Amazon. I'll put a link down below, but you get rose gold and gold. They're crosses. And again, because of my theme, but look how sweet that looks right there. It's so cute. And you can even put a little tag, if you want, underneath the paper clip, but I don't really want to cover up my dove. That's sweet. I don't know what I like better, if I like the twine, the ribbon, or the seam binding. You'll have to let me know which one you all liked. They're all really pretty. I also have some pink seam binding, so that might look pretty as well. I quickly wanted to show you how to fold these little envelopes, even though you probably know already. So I had my Cricut cut these out, but you can do, you know, these by hand. Like I said, I'll have a template. But again, this is just another My Porch Print image, and I printed double-sided. And my Cricut will do score lines for me, but if not, you just take your scoreboard and just run some score lines down each side, and then fold those up like that, and then you have a score line for the top. Even though I leave that open, I still like to ink that up. And then I just take my little circle punch and create a little notch right there, and then we'll just ink it up. And just want to do the sides that will show. And like I said, I like to do that fold right there. And then we'll glue that like that. And then let me show you the template. So this template, I will have this over on my Patreon site, and I'll have the link down below for how to get over to my Patreon site. And you just need to sign up as a free member. It literally costs you nothing, and then you can print this out, and you can see that it'll give you true to size these pockets that I did here. But you can always make some adjustments and scale the image so you can see that it's all pretty good. And then one thing I did forget to mention is I cut these little tabs off just so it has a nicer little finish. So I just those little ends right there. So this template is free over on my Patreon site. What I would recommend you do is print it at 100% scale and then cut each one of these out, and then you can just use them to trace over any paper you want to use, and then you can fussy cut them out. So this is an option if you don't have a Cricut. And then if you do have a Cricut, I have shared the project file on how to cut all these out using the Cricut. And that's available over on Design Space, and I will link that down below. But I really love how this project came together. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. I'll add a couple little video clips here at the end where I cut out the different pockets, these pockets on the Cricut, so you can kind of see what it looks like. And of course, I've made several of these, so I printed out multiple of each of the ones. But I just love how these came out. They're so cute. So cute. Let's see, I think I covered everything that I wanted to share. Oh, I also will link the My Porch Prints digital, and it's not sponsored at all. I have bought several times from them, and I'm always very pleased with their images. So yeah, so I love how this has come together. Super excited. These are going to my patrons on the Bluegrass tier. But I think they'll look so nice, whether you want to use it as a journal topper or as on a journal page. Just trying to find a page here. I mean, look how lovely that looks. And then you got a fun little flap there. And you have all these pockets you can fill with fun little items. And like I said, if you don't want it to be kind of a faith-based, you can do whatever theme you want. All right, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.